All right, ladies and gentlemen, MrSotko here. Welcome back to the channel and welcome to Day Trading Bitcoin for Beginners. So this video is intended for anybody who has never purchased Bitcoin, or maybe you have purchased Bitcoin but don't quite know what to do with it, so that you can go out there and actually start trading your Bitcoin and making a few bucks in the process. So in this video, I'm going to show you guys how to sign up to an exchange and send money to the exchange, then get Bitcoin, and then trade Bitcoin. And this is sort of a recreation video of my 2017 version. And since then, a lot of things have changed in terms of Coinbase and their exchange and day trading in general. So first of all, what you guys are going to do now, just as a reminder, there are plenty of different exchanges to purchase Bitcoin through. However, I feel like Coinbase is easily one of the best, while they do have some faults, and we're going to go over those faults and how you can get around some fees and things like that and do this for as little as possible and make as much as possible. But Coinbase is heavily insured. They have never been hacked. Never anything wrong has really gone with Coinbase in general. So in the description below is a link to Coinbase. Click on that link, and when you spend your first $100 or sell $100 worth of cryptocurrency, you're going to get $10 free in Bitcoin. So you might as well do that. It's also going to be in the comments as well. It's going to be the top pinned comment. So just take that link. It's going to send you to Coinbase. So once you're on Coinbase, of course, you're going to have to sign up. You're going to have to put in your details, information, make an account, etc., etc. And one of the first things we want to do is just click on your little picture up here, whatever you decide that your thumbnail is going to be, or even if you didn't want, is going to be up here in the top right. And that is going to take you to the settings page. So go to the settings page and then go over to payment methods, and you're going to add a payment method. Now you can add credit cards. As you can see, I have a credit card on here. But what you really want to do is add your bank account. And it's the same bank account type deal that pretty much any website or PayPal or anything like that you go through. So you put in your information, your checking, and et cetera, and Coinbase is going to send you a couple of deposits. There'll be like a few cents each, and then you have to tell Coinbase what those deposits were. So this whole process is going to take a few days for them to send you that money and for that to all go through. But it's pretty critical that you have a bank account on here, because that is how you're going to avoid all of the fees on Coinbase, because we're not actually going to be buying the Bitcoin on Coinbase itself, and there's some reasons for that, and we'll get into that in just a second. Another thing you should check out once you're on Coinbase is the rewards page. So it says earn rewards down here, and you can see that there's some various cryptocurrency training. So these are actually just questions. So it plays a short video, you answer a question, and you get $1 in graph here. You get another $1 and another $1. It shows that you can earn up to $3. And you can actually take these various cryptocurrencies and do these tests and gain $6 in Cello, or $59 in Compound. There's $6 in Maker here, $50 in XLM. And these may be here for you, or they may not be. There may be different ones. It depends on who they feel like giving them to at the time. So once you have those, you can actually click on your portfolio down here. Like once you get a few dollars or so, you just click on your portfolio and then find that coin that you just earned. And you can actually transfer that into Bitcoin if you want to help your trading, or you can turn it into Ethereum or Litecoin. There is a small fee for doing that, but I think it's kind of worth it. So if you get those little bits of altcoins here from these various Coinbase earn programs, it's just essentially free money. You don't have to actually pay anything. It's just you literally do a mindlessly easy questionnaire, and then you get essentially free money. So the reason why we want a bank account on there, and there's no problem with putting a credit card on there, just in case maybe Bitcoin goes down in price really fast and you really, really want that cheap Bitcoin right now, then it's okay. So when you go to buy and sell here, And this is why we don't really use the direct Coinbase. In fact, we're going to use their exchange in just a moment here. I'll show you that. And their exchange is called Coinbase Pro. And another reason why I'm remaking this video is because Coinbase Pro used to be called GDAX, and they since rebranded it to Coinbase Pro. It is virtually the same exact thing, just called Coinbase Pro now. I guess they just didn't like the name GDAX. I really don't know. Another reason I'm making the video is because of the earn rewards, again, down here. So that's a bunch of free cryptocurrency. In total, I mean, you can easily earn $100 in random cryptocurrency just by doing those. So, hey, free stuff. But this is the reason why we don't use the Coinbase UI. So this is sort of the easy UI for newcomers to the field. And as you can see, it's very easy to see. You can see Bitcoin down here. You can see your portfolio balance. You can see all this stuff. However, you pay a big price for that. So let me just show you. This is with my bank account linked. And let's say I want to buy $100 in Bitcoin. So we're going to preview that buy. So I haven't bought it yet. It's just a preview. And it says $2.99 for this Coinbase fee. So really, you're only buying $97.01 in Bitcoin for the price of $100. Now, that's not too bad, particularly if Bitcoin goes up in price. But again, when you want to sell that $100 in Bitcoin, if it went up in price and you're like, well, I'm in profit now, I would like to sell it, and then rebuy and sell and try to trade on Coinbase, you can see you're going to get hit by a $3 fee every time. And if you try to buy more, it's going to be even a bigger fee. And I do recommend putting $100 on Coinbase to start trading, because if you can put $100 on Coinbase and then put it on their exchange, which I'll show you in just a moment, that's actually 3%. If you make $2 or $3, that's 2 or 3%. And while just a couple dollars might not mean much to you, just think about that percentage. If you had $1,000 on there, what would 2% be? If you had $10,000 on there, what would 2% be? So 2% is 2%. It's relative gains. And just think about your bank account. If you were to put $100 in your savings account at the end of the year, it's only going to give you 1, maybe 2%, which is just $1 or so. So you can make this in one trade, or maybe even just a couple trades. So now let me show you if you choose to use a credit card. The only reason I can say to ever use a credit card is, again, if there's a big dip in Bitcoin real fast and you just really want some cheap coin really quick. This is the only time I could ever see actually using a credit card on Coinbase, because let's just check out this fee. So let's just do the $100 thing. Let's preview that buy. And oh my God, $3.84. So really now you're only buying $96.16 with Bitcoin. And again, when you'd want to go to sell Bitcoin, I don't have any Bitcoin on Coinbase right now. I've since moved just a little bit that I had from the Coinbase earns and some referrals and such to their exchange. So this is really just a facade. The Coinbase Coinbase.com is really sort of a facade for the actual exchange, which is the meat and potatoes that actually is Coinbase. So we don't want to do this, but we had to go to Coinbase.com to earn these rewards and get some free stuff, and to actually sign up to our account and put in our bank account. So that's what we use Coinbase.com for. So now that we know how to put in a bank account and actually get our Coinbase set up, let's head on over to the exchange, and I'll show you that in just a second here. All right, so now we're on the actual exchange that Coinbase uses. So this is actually what Coinbase is. Again, the Coinbase.com is just sort of a facade. It's an easy user interface. It's sort of just like a blanket over the actual somewhat complicated exchange that actually is Coinbase Pro. So what you want to do is head to pro.coinbase.com. You can Google Coinbase Pro. It's going to show you the same link, and you're going to sign in to this. Now, you don't have to make a new account. It's the same account that you have on Coinbase, because these two are the same thing. It's the same company. This is just the exchange that you use. So when you actually buy things on Coinbase, it's actually just taking it off of this exchange and giving it to you on Coinbase. So now let's say real quick, we'll go over everything here. But first of all, we want to check out this deposit button right here. And let's say you did buy $100 worth of Bitcoin on Coinbase. You can see here, we could just click on Bitcoin, and then from Coinbase.com, you can actually move it over and you can hit max. See, I have no Bitcoin on Coinbase.com because I moved it over for free to GDAX. Or to Coinbase Pro. I'm still actually used to calling it. You just hit max and it'll just come right over. But what we really want to see is the deposit here to bring in money to the exchange. So if you're in the United States, it'll be US dollars, obviously. If you're in Europe, it'll be euros. So it's all the same thing, really. So we're going to click on USD, and so far we haven't put any money on Coinbase. So we just want to bring it over to Coinbase Pro because this is where we're going to actually do our day trading. So you just want to click on your bank account and then, type in something like $100 and hit preview deposit and then hit confirm. And in a few days, now it says here that it's instantly available for trading. And again, this ACH transfer is free for everybody. So you actually just skip that $2.99 fee that I just showed you. You skip that $3 fee, whatever. You totally skip that. You don't have to pay for that, but because that's just going to take away your profits. Buying and selling on Coinbase is just going to take away your profits. So that's why we come to pro.coinbase.com. And when you put in $100, it may take a few days. So my account has been around for a long time. So they have given me instant trading. But for a new account, that might not be the case. You might have to wait 4 or 5 days for it to come in. But trust me, it's worth it because you're going to be doing this over and over and over the period of time. Also, you can transfer, you can withdraw as well. So if you have some money on the exchange, you can either do with Bitcoin, etc., and send it to a different address, or you can hit US dollars, withdraw to your bank account. And I don't have any funds on here right now, but you can hit max, you can withdraw, and that is free to withdraw as well, but it'll take a few days to hit your bank account. So if you end up trading your $100 in Bitcoin and you end up gaining a few bucks and you're like, hey, I need that money, you just click right here and send it over. So now this looks all a little bit complicated, but it is definitely not, and I'm going to show you some other things along the way too. So first of all, this is the price of Bitcoin going up and down. This is the price of it right now over here where my cursor is, 39,968, and you can see how it's moving up and down. So these are all candles. And what you want to do first is set your candles to 15 minutes. I find that's the easiest way to trade is with 15-minute candles, in my opinion. And when you see a green candle like this, that means that in that 15-minute period, this is a 15-minute period, and once that 15-minute period ended, it was green because the price went up in that 15-minute period. So at the top of the candle right here, not this little dangly up there, that's called a shadow, this little green thing coming up. So that's called a shadow. And that's because the price during that 15-minute period actually went up to $40,790. You can see it right here, or you can hover above it, and it says it right here. We'll show you the high. And that is the price actually went up to that period, and then it went down, and then once 15 minutes ended, it moved over. So the way you read a green candle is right here at the top of the candle at the box, and that was the price that ended at that 15-minute period, and thus it's green because it was up. The way you read a red candle, they look kind of orangish, but they're called red candles, is that you read it at the bottom of the candle, because in this 15-minute period, Bitcoin actually went down and ended right here, and then moved on to that next 15-minute period. And you can see here that that 15-minute period ended right here at the small bottom of the box right there. But in that 15-minute period, it actually went down here. Buyers brought it back up to the top, and then it went back down and ended there. And it ended lower than this previous candle. Therefore, it is a red candle. So the shadows are the little tips coming down. And when you see shadows going up and down like that, it's typically a little bit of uncertainty during that period. And there was a lot of buyers, and there was also a lot of sellers, and it kind of ended in the middle. So that is how you read those. And you can see that there's typically sort of an up and down nature to Bitcoin. in that sense. Over here is just the trade history. This isn't particularly important on the right side. I have never found it particularly important for my trading. This is just the price is green because the price was going up in that period, and these are people buying and selling Bitcoin. Down here, we'll show your open orders, etc. And if you have an open order at the time and you're trying to buy Bitcoin. And then down here is your fills, like below, behind my image is the actual completed orders. So it shows my order history down there. So now we know how to deposit money onto Coinbase Pro. You just click deposit, you click on US dollars, click on your bank account, and send some money over. Now, how do we buy and sell it? So I have a little bit of Bitcoin on here. And again, this is just from like referrals and from some Coinbase Earn that I just turned into Bitcoin, just as an example to show you. And we have 3 different major orders on here. We have market orders, limit orders, and stop orders. Now, a market order is how prices actually move. You can see how fast these prices are moving because this is the order book right here, and these are all standing orders for limit orders, which we'll get into in a moment. So basically, you can put a limit order on, and the price is currently at $40,000, but I could put an order in. I could click limit order and then type in how much Bitcoin I want to sell, and then put it at a price. So like, let's say I want to sell it at $41,000 because it's currently at about $40,100. So I can actually just fill that in and boom, there's all my, the amount of Bitcoin that I want to, I actually got to click sell. That's the amount of Bitcoin that I want to sell. So we got to make sure that we're clicking buying and selling here. But, and then you can click max and it'll automatically fill in the Bitcoin that I had there. And selling it at $41,000 will result in a 86-cent fee because back in the day, another reason why I'm remaking this video is that limit orders used to be free on GDAX, which is again the same thing here, except it was just rebranded to Coinbase Pro, and they used to be totally free. But that's an 86-cent fee, and I'll get $171.10 out of that. Or I could change that. I could set it at $42,000 if I want, and it'll be $175. So big gains there. However, the price actually has to go up to $42,000. So once it actually reaches $42,000, my order will sell to somebody hitting the market button. So the market button is buying it right now. So basically all of these standing orders right here in this order book, these are people wanting to buy. And of course they're wanting to buy at a lower price. As you can see, the price goes down and down and down to $40,000, $21 there. It's moving so fast, it's hard to see. And these are people wanting to sell in the red up here. So there's some people that are trying to sell a little bit of Bitcoin for $40,100, and these people are trying to buy it right now. So this is closer to the actual price here. And you can see that these people are buying it very quickly at this price, and these people are trying to sell it. So when I hit this, so I have some Bitcoin on here, and let's say I want to sell it right now. Well, you would use the market buy button, and that's going to make you a taker of liquidity. When you make a limit order, you are a maker of liquidity. And you can see here in this fee chart from Coinbase that taker fees and maker fees are exactly the same thing if you don't have greater than $10,000 volume in a month period. So right now, for somebody only trading $100, taker and maker fees are the same thing. But once you get above that, the taker fee and the maker fee are the same thing. But once you get to 50,000 to 100,000, it starts to make a little difference. So you really shouldn't pay too much attention to that. But just to inform you, when you make a market buy, so like when I hit sell, and I max that out, I'm going to get $167. But notice that when I put that limit order in there, I was going to get $171 because I was going to sell it at $41,000 or $42,000. So selling it right now will sell it at $40,100 and at the exact price at what it is now. And I'm going to pay a fee for that. But the fee is the same unless you're trading a pretty big volume of Bitcoin. So I wouldn't worry about it too much. You can also do that with buy. So if I had money on here, let's say I had $100 right here, and I clicked max, it would buy $100 of Bitcoin. So let's type in $100 in Bitcoin and see how much that would be. So it would be 0.00246 Bitcoin. So again, you don't need $40,000 to buy Bitcoin. Instead, you can just buy a little bit of Bitcoin. And you can buy fractional amounts because Bitcoin is fractional to 8 digits. So I can buy just $100 in Bitcoin. I do not need to buy $40,000 in Bitcoin. And so if I had $100, I could just hit max right there and it would just take that $100 and fill it out like this at $100, or it would fill out whatever fractional amount of money I have. Maybe it was $100.56, and it would fill it down there and I would buy it. So again, you can do that with Bitcoin with limit orders as well. Let's say I want to buy Bitcoin at it's $40,000 right now, but with a limit order, we need to put it below what the current market price is because we want a good deal on our Bitcoin. We don't want to buy it now. We want to buy it at a lower price. So I could type in just $40,000, and if I had money here, it would autofill to the amount of actual money that I have. So if I had $100, it would buy equivalent amount of $100 in Bitcoin at 40,000 US dollars. But we can do that with sell as well. And of course, if we want to sell with a limit order, we need to sell at above market value. So above 40,300 and some odd dollars. It's moving very quickly. So we would want to sell it at like something like $41,000. And then we can hit max, and it'll fill out all of the Bitcoin that you have, and therefore I'm going to get $171.10 when this actually goes up to $41,000. Or you could put it at something like $50,000 and forget it. So as you can see, the cyclical nature of Bitcoin, if I were to sell it at 40,800 and then rebuy in at 39,500 where it was down here, of course, I'm going to buy more Bitcoin than I previously had, and I'm going to be making money doing that. And once I buy it at $39,000, if I resold it at $41,000, I'm going to have more than the $100 that I initially started at. Now, stop orders are a little bit more complicated. One thing we want to do with limit orders is always have post only on. That should be on by default, but we want post only on. But moving on to stop orders are a little bit more confusing, and as a newbie into day trading, you really don't need to use this that much. However, let's say I bought some Bitcoin. Let's say I bought this amount of Bitcoin today, and I'm going to go to sleep. And I'm worried that Bitcoin might dump while I'm going to sleep. So I can put and set this up in a manner. I can hit max, and like let's say I want to sell my Bitcoin. And the stop order is a little bit strange. So the stop order saves you. So let's say I bought in Bitcoin at $40,300 and overnight it dumps to $38,000. Well, I'm going to wake up in the morning and go, oh man, the Bitcoin is worth less than I bought it. I should have sold. I should have sold it at some other price, and now I could be picking it up at a lower price. So what we want to do is we set a stop price. And again, this is a little confusing, so pay attention. So let's say I don't want the Bitcoin to drop too much overnight. So this is just an arbitrary thing. You're going to have to figure this out on your own at exactly what prices you want it to stop at. But let's say I don't want it to get less than like $39,900. So we put a stop price in there, and that's when that's going to initiate this. So again, this is a little confusing, but at $39,900 will initiate my stop order. And now we have to set a limit price as well. So we don't want too big of a margin in our limit price. And you'll see what I mean in just a moment here. So let's say $39,500. Or you could even do $39,800. So that means that this is going to trigger at $39,900. And if the price continues to go down to $39,800, it's going to stop there and sell my Bitcoin immediately. However, during that $100 difference, because it's 39,800 and 39,900, it will attempt to sell my Bitcoin sometime between that $100 margin. So we don't want to set a margin like all the way down to $30,000. And let's say Bitcoin crashes overnight and it sells at $39,000, but I just paid $40,000 for my Bitcoin. That's not good. We don't want to do that. So we want to create a short margin. So remember, the limit price in your stop order is less than your stop price. Now, with a buy stop order, it's going to buy Bitcoin for you if Bitcoin continues to raise overnight. Let's say I go to sleep and I have money in the account. I have $100. Well, I can set a stop price at, let's say, $41,000 and a limit price of $41,100. So overnight, if Bitcoin continues to rise, it will attempt to buy Bitcoin somewhere in between $41,100, $41,000 and $41,100. And if it reaches $41,100 and it still hasn't purchased it, it will automatically purchase it at that price. So again, we don't want to have too big of a margin in our stop orders. And I recommend not using your stop order that much. I recommend mostly using limit orders or market orders. So let's say I buy in at 40,000, you could just sit around, and if you have the Coinbase app on your phone, you can check the prices via the Coinbase app. You can do it on CoinMarketCap. You can do it on CoinGecko. There's many different ways to check the price of Bitcoin. And if you notice that Bitcoin is at $41,000 and you're like, well, that seems like a good deal, a good time to sell, you can just hit sell and then all of your Bitcoin and then place your sell order. So with this said, you might be asking, well, how do I know when the price is going to go up and going to go down? Well, that's where we take a look over time. We can actually scroll this out and you can see sort of how it works over time, that it goes up and down and up and down. And that's not always the case, but you get used to it. That's why I suggest starting with $100. So if you start with just $100, buy into Bitcoin, wait till it goes up in price, and then sell it, and then wait till it goes down in price and rebuy back in. Now you've bought a little bit more Bitcoin than you originally had. And when you go to sell again, you'll sell and have a little bit more money than you had before. Now the gains aren't going to be that much with $100. If you sell a couple times and you make a few percent, you'll have $102 or $103. And again, don't scoff at that, because I know that's only $2 or $3, but just think to yourself, you just made 3% in just a couple trades in maybe a day or two. That is incredible gains. Now think about that if you had 10,000 or 100,000 or $1 million. What is 3% of that? That's a lot of money. And if you choose to, you can keep your principal on the exchange. You can keep your principal amount of money or your principal amount of Bitcoin. Like let's say you're trading 1 Bitcoin and you go and then you sell it. And then you rebuy back in at 1 Bitcoin, and you've bought a little bit of extra Bitcoin now. You could sell that little bit of extra Bitcoin, send it to your bank account, and then continue trading 1 Bitcoin. So that's basically the gist of day trading Bitcoin. It just simply use limit orders or sell orders. So once again, with buy orders, we want to buy below market value. It won't allow you to put a price that's above market value because that's silly. And when you post a limit order, you actually post it along with these people here. These are just going incredibly fast, and the orders of people buying is very, very fast. So all of these orders are actually being settled by market orders, right? Because market orders are what buys and sells right now. Limit orders just sit there until the price has reached the value that you want to buy or sell at, and then it automatically sells to somebody who clicked that market buy button. So it's just going to sit there indefinitely until somebody hits market and buys it at the price that you're going to buy at. So once again, with limit orders, we're posting it. and we're waiting for a certain price. So again, if I want to buy a Bitcoin, I don't really want to buy it at this price. You can buy it at this price, but let's say you're looking for a good deal. You want to buy it $200 less than it is now at $40,000. So we take our limit price down here and we type in $40,000. And then if you had $100 here, you could actually just hit max. And for some reason, it just puts 0.0008. I must have a penny on there or something. But it would put an equivalent amount of Bitcoin on there. It would automatically use your $100. And then you just click down here, you place buy order, and let me just actually put that on. It probably won't even be enough. Yeah, it's not enough. It has to be greater than 0.001 Bitcoin. So, but $100 would do the trick. And then if Bitcoin actually lowered to 40,000, you would buy Bitcoin at 40,000. Of course, you would buy a little bit more Bitcoin than you would just pressing the market buy button, because instead of buying it at $40,200, you're just buying it at $40,000. Again, with sell orders with the limit, you're selling at a higher price than it currently is. So let's say we want to sell at we're patient, right? We want to sell at $45,000. So we set a limit price, a sell order at 45,000. We type in 45,000, and then we're selling Bitcoin right now. And I have some Bitcoin on here, so we're just going to hit max, and it's going to sell all of our Bitcoin. Or you can type in just however much Bitcoin you want to sell. And then when we place the sell order, it's just going to sit there. You can see it down here in the open orders, and it says price $45,000 at this much, and you're going to get the money for that Bitcoin when Bitcoin reaches $45,000. So those are sort of future buying and selling options, and it's going to post down here. So that and you can cancel at any time. It's free to cancel. See, I just canceled that, and it would be all the way up here. We can actually bring this aggregate. If we just sort of hit plus right here, we might be able to see 45,000. No, not quite. But that brings up the aggregate of what you're actually seeing. I like to keep it pretty low. So it's just a 1 cent difference, and you can see how fast it moves like that. But these are standing orders. These are limit orders. So now let me give you a little tip on some technical analysis. There's quite a bit of technical analysis out there. There's a lot of YouTubers that do it. There's a lot of websites that do it. However, technical analysis is pretty subjective. It is not an exact science. In fact, if technical analysis was an exact science in terms of chart reading and figuring out what the price is going to be in the future, if it's going to go up or if it's going to go down, if it was an exact science, inherently, we would have no markets. We would have no exchange, because we would know scientifically what the next price is going to be. So if you ever hear anybody in technical analysis videos telling you that they know the exact price of what Bitcoin is going to be tomorrow or the next week or the next month, they're sort of full of it. There are people that are good at it, but it is impossible. Again, inherently, it's sort of a paradox, because if you could actually scientifically confirm what it's going to be in the future, then there would be no markets, because everybody would know that they would buy in at this period or they would sell at this period, and it would just sort of destroy itself. It's sort of a conundrum. So, but let me help you out here with something that really helps me out a lot. And so go to tradingview.com. I recommend signing in to tradingview.com. Otherwise, they'll kick you out after like so many minutes and stuff like that. Or they'll ask you to sign up, and it's kind of annoying. So just make an account. It's free. It's just a sign up thing. You can pay for additional features, but I never do. So here's Bitcoin to USD. So type in Bitcoin, BTC USD, and you can see here Bitcoin to US dollars on crypto Coinbase. And we're going to want to click on that. Because again, you can select different markets on here. This is one thing I actually sort of missed for you guys here, is you can select different markets and you can buy different cryptocurrency. If you want to buy Ethereum to US dollars, or Ripple, XRP to US dollars, or Litecoin, and they have tons of different coin. However, I want to urge you to stick with Bitcoin at first and then get into altcoins. You can also type in USDC is an altcoin stable coin that's at $1. It's always at $1, and you can transfer that stable coin to different platforms. But for now, just stick to the ALL or the USD right here and just try Bitcoin to US dollar. Or if you're in Europe, just Bitcoin to Euro, et cetera, et cetera. And you can try these other coins, but for now, I recommend just Bitcoin to US dollar. It's the easiest to trade. It's the most known coin. It's just easier for now. Some of the bigger gains are in some of the altcoins. However, for the first time, just put $100 on Coinbase and try to sell at a higher price than you just bought in. So whenever you buy in, just choose a higher price. And this will help you choose when to sell. So we typed in Bitcoin to US dollar here. Once again, it was BTC USD. And since we're on Coinbase, we want Coinbase's data. So it's right here, right at the top. It's a pretty popular exchange, so therefore it's going to be at the top. And then what we want to do is click on full featured chart. And it's going to bring up a new tab here. And I just kind of put that back there. And we're going to have this. And you won't see this right away. So it's going to show you this. So this is the same chart that is on Coinbase. As you can see, it's the same thing. However, we're going to get some different things out of this. And what we want to do is click on indicators up here. And well, before we do that, let's click on this and click 15 minutes because it might be on a 1 hour chart right away or a 1 day chart. So click on this this little box right here and click on the 15-minute chart because I feel like the 15-minute chart is the easiest to day trade and to actually trade on the spot. So 15-minute, then go to indicators. And you can type in just REL if you want, REL, or you can type the whole thing out if you want. And you're going to see this thing called relative strength index. And there are a ton of different indicators and strategies that will show up on here. You can see all different kinds of ones. You guys can experiment with this, find the right one for you. There's an incredible amount of diversity in these different technical indicators. A lot of them are from the stock market world, and they will show you the ups and downs of Bitcoin in different ways, in different mathematical ways. However, relative strength index is sort of my trading god. So type in relative strength index, and it's relative strength index, not vigor, not volatility. It's relative strength index. So we're going to click on that, and we're going to see this bar down here. We're going to get this one. And you can see that there is a bar at the top right here, right exactly here. You can see a little dotted line that goes across the top, and it's at 70. You'll notice that it's at 70. And when anything is over that dotted line, it will be in overbought territory. That means that eventually, pretty soon, it is going to dump in price. Maybe not a lot, but it's going to go down pretty soon. And it's usually pretty accurate. So if you're trading a coin that is currently above 70 RSI, it may be getting close to a good time to sell. Now, when the opposite, you can see another dotted line at the bottom where the pink stops, and it's at 30. If it's below 30, it is in the oversold territory, meaning it's going to come back up pretty soon. Now, let's take a look at these correlations. So, as you can see, it's overbought right now. It's above 70 right here. And it's going down. And this wasn't too long ago. I think this was at noon today or yesterday. I think this was at noon yesterday. And at the time, the price was some $41,700. And you can see where it starts to come in right here, right where it actually starts to come down back below 70. See, it goes up above 70 and we go back down below 70. And right there, let's find out the price right there. It was at $41,633. And let's look at the price after that. It was lower than that. It was lower than that almost the entire time. It did come back a little bit here. But then came back down. So selling there would not have been a bad idea. You could see that it did come up temporarily a little bit higher than that. But if you had bought here many hours later, you'd be in a pretty good position because you just sold your Bitcoin at $41,644 and you just bought back in at 39,000 some odd dollars. That is a pretty good buy, a pretty good sell, and a pretty good buy. And you can see it nearly reached the oversold territory right here and started to come back up. And now let's take a look at that. You can see it's all the way at the bottom here, and look at that. It's a good time to buy in, 39,000 some odd dollars, all the way down here. You can see it reached 40,000 about right here many hours later. So any time that you had bought right here is a pretty good deal, because look at it afterwards. It's now at 40,900 some dollars. So RSI is actually relatively accurate. Relative strength index, no pun intended. But you can see here, once again, another example. This was on the 8th of January at around 2:30 in the afternoon. You can see here that it breached below 30, which is in the oversold territory. And once it started to come back up, was a pretty good time to buy back in. Look at that, $36,000 Bitcoin. And if you would have sold when it actually breached above 70 again, look at that, 41,000. So you just sold Bitcoin $5,000 above what you bought it. Now that is pretty good gains. Once again, let's pull it back and look at another example. You can see here it's in the overbought territory. It nearly breached it down, but it didn't. So that wasn't a good time to sell. This is when you want to sell, when it actually breaches back down below 70. Once it goes up, we're waiting, and we want to sell once it's going back down below 70 in the pink. And which is a funny statement, I suppose. But again, once you see, if you could see here at 39,000, would have been a good time to buy, would have been a good time to sell, because after that, it went all the way down to 37,000. Or if you would have been patient and waited many, many hours, you could have got it all the way down at 36,000. So RSI is a very good thing to have up while you're trading. If you want to be a really good trader, you want to have a lot of patience. You want to wait till it's above 70 RSI, and you want to wait till it's below 30 RSI, if you can help it. Now, here is a different example. It did not breach below 30. However, you could see that it was coming back up very quickly. It was a very sharp rise once it was going down. You were expecting it to breach below 30, but it did not, and it's coming back up. So that's actually a pretty good time to sell right there. But that is one of the best technical indicators, in my opinion, is relative strength index. There's a lot of them. There's the Ichimoku cloud, which a lot of people really enjoy having. Again, it's a lot more complex, but it can show you the buying power and then the selling power afterwards, and it sort of looks a little bearish afterwards. But I'm not too big of a fan of the Ichimoku cloud. It's okay, but there's a ton of different indicators, and you can remove them as you go, or you can balance of power. That's a trial one, but there's a ton of them. However, I recommend when you're trading on Coinbase here, as you're sitting and watching the charts, also have Trading View up. Log in, because if you don't log in, it'll prompt you to log in over and over, and it's just annoying. So just go ahead and do it. There's no cost to you. Just type in RSI, relative strength index. You have to type in REL, and then click on it. So up here in indicators, REL and relative strength index. And if you see that Bitcoin is below the 30 mark or very close down there, it's probably a good time to buy. Now, it's not 100% accurate. It is not. But it is probably a good time to buy. You personally don't have to take my opinion on this. You don't even have to believe me on this. In fact, you can just bring up RSI yourself and scroll through in history and see the correlation, see when it does correlate, see when it doesn't correlate. Make the decision for yourself. It is a pretty good technical indicator for sure. And when you want to sell is usually when it's actually breaching down below 70. And when it's at the peak on the bottom is when you typically want to buy in. So a little difference there. So when it's on the bottom, you want to wait for the peak below at the bottom. Wait for as long as you can for that bottom, and then buy in. And then when you're looking at RSI at the top, when you're looking to sell, you want it to sort of be actually breaching down 70 back down, and that's typically the best time. So you can notice that yourself if you take a look at it. But I hope this helped you out. I wanted to remake this day trading for beginners video because when I made my first one, it is one of my most popular videos on my channel. I made it in 2017, and while there was nothing wrong with it in 2017, there has been some changes. Again, limit orders are no longer free on Coinbase Pro. Used to be on GDAX, which was, let me just tell you, was a really great time because you could just trade back and forth at very low prices and still make money. And there's Coinbase Earn, etc. And I wanted to show you guys the relative strength index too. So always have this up when you're trading. You may use whatever indicators you want. I highly recommend relative strength index while you're trading. If you see it go up, wait for it to go up. If you look at it and it's in the middle, go ahead and trade at your own risk. That's fine. But if you're really patient, wait for it to go up above 70. It does it once a day at least. It goes it up above 70, and it's a good time to sell once it's starting to go back down. And usually once or twice a day or once every other day, it'll be below 30 or at least near it, which is a good time to buy back in. But I hope this video helped you guys out for beginners. And once again, in the comments down below is the Coinbase sign up. You're going to get $10 in free Bitcoin when you buy or sell a total of $100. So you don't actually have to do $100. I recommend $100 because quite frankly, it's not a lot to lose. And if you make a couple bucks, that's a few percent. And it's really easy to gauge how much percentage that you've made off $100 because it's a nice even 10 sort of number there. And if you made a few percent, then I recommend putting more money into Bitcoin. You can also just, of course, buy Bitcoin and just hodl it. You do not need to trade it. You can just sit there indefinitely on an exchange or on a Ledger wallet or put it somewhere safe, and it will go up in price eventually. But day trading is a great way to make a few extra dollars instead of just hodling and holding on to Bitcoin. So sign up to that. That's in the comments. It'll be the pinned comment, or it'll be in the description as well. And if you guys have any comments, questions, please feel free to put them down in the comment section below. I usually look at my comments once or twice a day. And if I see that you have a question that I can answer, I will definitely respond to you. But that's all I have for you guys. And as usual, I'll see you guys next time.